This is Channel 2 News at noon.
Good afternoon. 3 people are now in custody in a series of bomb attacks in upstate New York.
These blasts left 5 people dead and 2 injured. Bombs went off almost simultaneously last night in the Buffalo suburb of Cheektowaga, also in West Valley, which is south of Buffalo, in Rochester, and in Hogansburg in northeastern New York State.
I would say whoever did it knew what they were doing.
Authorities say the bombing targets were all members of one family. One bomb blew up at the Rochester apartment of Pamela Fowler, where she and another man were killed. That explosion and fire were so intense, their bodies were burned beyond recognition. About the same time, Pamela's mother was opening a box in West Valley. That's about 100 miles away. That exploded, killing Eleanor Fowler. Within the same hour in Cheektowaga, Eleanor's husband, Robert, opened a box at the armored car company where he worked. He was killed along with a co-worker. Authorities say the bombs were contained in tool or fish tackle boxes, which were then packaged in cardboard boxes.
We have investigators on the scene that are spending time sifting through the residents inch by inch.
Incredible story. Authorities say that 2 other bombs sent to members of the Fowler family were intercepted and detonated. A woman and 2 men are now being questioned in Rochester, but they have not been arrested. FBI sources say the woman is believed to be the daughter of the man who was killed in the Rochester explosion. We'll have more on this later today. Jim?
In the meantime, other instruments of death continue to pour into the 34th Police Precinct in Washington Heights this noon hour, where a program to exchange guns for toys has proved to be much more successful than originally expected. Channel 2 News is live in Washington Heights, where correspondent Mike TAIBBI now reports. Mike.
Yeah, Jim, the success of this program came as a total surprise to a whole lot of people, but now that it's been such a visible success, as we've seen for the past week, a whole lot more retailers are getting involved. Toys R Us, of course, was the first retailer involved. Now Foot Locker is in for $25,000 worth of gift certificates. We hear the Dial-A mattress is going to get involved, and some major food chains are considering getting involved. There's still some major questions that have not been fully answered, though. Who exactly is turning in what kinds of guns? And will the violent crime rate in this precinct be realistically affected? In so many ways, this program that started last week as Guns for Toys has been a stunning success. A national story whose bandwagon effect may help it become a national program. And it's impossible to refute one obvious claim, that here are 300 or 400 or more handguns, rifles, shotguns, automatics that will never be used in the commission of a violent crime. The weapons surrendered this past week will all be destroyed. On the morning the program started, we found plenty of skeptics, including hardware store owner Sandy DeLeon, who said none of the people he knew who'd paid $300 or $400 for a 9mm would even think of exchanging such a weapon for a paltry $100 gift certificate. This morning, Sandy changed his tune.
I was surprised when I was seeing the results of everybody turning in their guns and all that. I didn't think everybody was going to turn it in.
On the other hand, up on the northern end of St. Nicholas Avenue, there's a fresh wreath and a collection of burning candles that make up the latest sidewalk memorial to the latest gunshot victim. Jang Hwa-jun, a young husband and father of 2, was the cashier at the Empire restaurant until Monday night. Hwa-jun's murder typified the casual use of guns that continues in Washington Heights in the 34th Precinct. 3 men late Monday night come into his restaurant, demand money. When the response is too slow, they fire a few shots into the air, one of them striking the victim and killing him instantly. The robbers came away with nothing. And in the weeks preceding and during the ballyhooed Toys for Guns program at the 34th Precinct, Hwa-jun had been robbed repeatedly.
4 times. One day he stepped in telling me that so nervous, so we got to hell up. And I said, what can I do? And I said, be quiet, don't do anything wrong.
Lambert, the friend of another gunshot victim, does not believe that toys for guns, or sneakers, or mattresses, or even food for guns, will get the guns out of the hands of the people who would use them.
This is the type of gun that the people has at the house. The people has at the house to protect themselves, not to make crime. The kind of people that has the gun to make crime, they never give away. Everybody knows that.
Well, with me right now is George Arroyo, who's from Amsterdam Avenue, a couple blocks away. George just turned in a gun. Tell me what you turned in, why you did it, and what effect you think it's going to have, George.
Well, I turned in a pen gun.
Yeah.
I did it, well, for the satisfaction of knowing something else is off the street, not only because Toys R Us or anything like that,
no.
But it gives you satisfaction that, see, if I go to throw it away, somebody could have picked it up. It gives me the satisfaction of turning it in.
Yeah. You know, we just interviewed a couple of people in this piece, I know you couldn't hear it, who said that the people who would use guns in violent crimes are not the people who are going to be turning it in. You don't strike me as a criminal type. What about that? Are the bad guys in this neighborhood, and you know this neighborhood, still likely to be carrying their pieces?
That's true. That's true. People that are going to use them, I'm not going to turn them in.
Yeah.
I think the majority of people that are turning them in are conscientious people, like, they're not going to use them. Yes, like me.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot. Congratulations
Thank
for
you
taking
very
part.
much.
What did you get? You get a gift certificate of sneakers?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I am.
All right, thanks. George Arroyo, who lives in the neighborhood, who's just turned in his gun. And, you know, the point that these guns will never be used in the commission of a violent crime. Real guns that you see that fire real bullets can't be denied. And that, of course, is the point of this program and probably the engine for its success. Channel 2 News is live in Washington Heights. I'm Mike TAIBBI.
All right, Mike, thanks a lot. Well, some more news to consider here. The U.S. is headed towards setting a deadly record, we learned today. A USA Today poll of police departments in 22 major cities shows that many of those cities have already set murder records for this year now ending. In our area, in fact, Bridgeport, Connecticut had a high of 62 murders. Oakland, California set a record for the 5th straight year with 166 homicides. Washington, D.C. had 463 murders as of Monday. That includes 3 in one 35-minute period. And Gary, Indiana edged out Washington with the most murders per capita in a city, a record 101 this year.
And another kind of death count is going up in Times Square. A huge electronic billboard called the Gunfighters of America Death Clock was unveiled this morning. It keeps count of the growing numbers of guns on our nation's streets, as well as the skyrocketing number of people killed by guns.
I think it's a wonderful thing. I think people need to be aware of how many people are dying from guns. I think it's ridiculous, all this crime and violence on the street. And
life is too short to worry about trying to ride around if someone's going to pull a gun.
The Gunfighters of America is a new non-profit organization formed to fight back against escalating gun violence.
A New Jersey woman is arraigned today on child abuse charges after authorities found her kids home alone in a burning apartment. Police arrested 25-year-old Sandra Rondon last night when she returned to her Union City home and found her building in flames. A neighbor got her 6 kids safely out of that apartment. Although no one was hurt, neighbors tell authorities that Rondon has often left them home alone.
The landlord now reports that to us. The landlord comes from Saddle River. Her excuse today, upon coming back to the scene and seeing the building burns, she stated that her car was stolen and she was out looking for it all day.
Now, it's not clear at this point exactly what caused the fire, but authorities say the children may have accidentally started it. Jim?
The city of New York has 2 mayors right now. Well, sort of. Mayor-elect Rudy Giuliani was sworn into office yesterday.
According to the best of my ability. To the best of my ability. I congratulate you, sir.
Giuliani officially takes office this weekend, but the early swearing-in is required by the city's charter, and he had to pay a symbolic 15-cent filing fee, which his kids shelled out in pennies. Giuliani is inaugurated this coming Sunday.
Well, the borough of Queens is getting the short end of the stick on city services. That, according to Borough President Claire Shulman, who has compiled a report now on how Queens gets shortchanged. Among her findings are these. Shulman says that Queens has nearly 25% of the city's serious crime, but only about 20% of the cops available. Nearly 2/3 of Queens streets, she says, are rated poor, and there are month-long delays in getting potholes fixed. And Queens has only 5,600 hospital beds for its nearly 2 million residents, whereas Manhattan has 400,000 fewer people, but nearly 10,000 more hospital beds. And as if the bitter weather, cold weather, wasn't enough, it looks now as if we're going to be hit with snow. That is what's being told. The same storm system that's headed our way has already practically shut down the nation's capital. Government offices in Washington closed early today. National Airport had to be closed for over an hour to clear the runways, and they're expecting more than 6 inches of snow there. We're going to go now to our Elaine Lewis in the Channel 2 Weather Center to find out what we can expect. Elaine?
Well, Carol, you know, the situation here is looking a lot better today than it did yesterday. However, the National Weather Service does have a winter storm watch in effect for Suffolk County on Long Island, but the rest of the winter storm watches have been dropped for the rest of the area. Also, it's important to know the difference between a watch and a warning. A watch is not a promise that this will happen, but the possibility does exist. And if you take a look at our chart here, We're now looking for the possibility of about 4 inches of snow accumulating on the eastern end of Long Island, but the amounts look much less as you go to the west. 1 to 3 inches possible around the city, and further west, even under an inch. But all of this, of course, can make driving difficult, and it does look like the snow will begin to occur around drive time home. And we'll have more details on this developing storm system a little bit later in the broadcast. Carol?
Okay, thanks, Elaine. Jim?
Thank you, Elaine. Rescuers, in the meantime, are racing against the weather to save a group of bottlenose dolphins in an icy New Jersey river, but one is already feared to have died. Marine experts could see only 3 dolphins in the Shrewsbury River this morning. There had been 4. Rescuers are trying to guide the dolphins out to the open ocean before ice completely covers the river, traps the mammals, and they'll drown. A lot of ice has already formed, so rescuers have been breaking it up just to keep the dolphins alive.
They were having trouble breaking through the ice. They had to actually break through the ice to get air. So what we did was we came down, we broke a nice area for them, and then we had them follow us all the way down to the Seabright Bridge. But their sonar, it's speculated.
Today, the rescuers plan to string a 160-foot net between 2 boats to herd the dolphins out of the river to the open ocean where they can head south for the winter. We have much more news still to come on this Wednesday afternoon, December 29th. Up next, another olive branch is extended in the Middle East.
Also ahead, remembering Norman Vincent Peale at funeral services today in Manhattan. And a longtime AIDS activist loses his fight for life. We'll tell you about Michael Callan. And later on, the mother-to-be who is 61 years old. Israeli and PLO negotiators say they have agreed on a framework to resolve issues that are blocking their peace accord. Now, this announcement comes on the 3rd day of meetings in Cairo. The main stumbling block has been Israel's delay in withdrawing its troops from the occupied Gaza Strip and from the West Bank town of Jericho.
Mourners gather today to remember the man who helped millions learn the power of positive thinking, the late Reverend Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. Funeral services, were held at the Marble Collegiate Church in Manhattan, where Dr. Peale served as pastor from 1932 to 1984. His sermons, best-selling book, radio addresses reached people all over the world. Dr. Peale died in his sleep on Christmas Eve at his home in upstate Dutchess County. He was 95 years old.
People with AIDS, in consultation with and under the supervision of their
Nationally known AIDS activist Michael Callan has died. Callan personified the hope for long-term AIDS survival, having lived with that disease for 12 years himself. He founded the People with AIDS Coalition and the Community Research Initiative in New York. Callan, who appeared in the new movie Philadelphia, died Monday in Los Angeles. He was just 38 years old.
We know many women wonder whether it's wise to have a baby late in life, but one 60-year-old woman in Italy is sure that she wants one. Her name is Rosanna Della Corte, and she could become one of the world's oldest mothers following fertility treatments by a controversial doctor. Mrs. Della Corte was treated with hormones, and she had a donor's fertilized eggs implanted into her uterus. She is 61. I said she was 60, but she's 61. And she lost her only child, who was a 17-year-old boy, in a car accident. She says now she may be expecting twins. Mrs. Della Corte used the same doctor whose procedures allowed a 59-year-old British woman to deliver twins this past Christmas Day.
Mayor Dinkins is ending his term with his pen. Up next, we'll tell you about 2 bills, one which becomes law, one which was vetoed this day.
And then just what we need, how to get your life in order as the new year rapidly approaches. Stay with us.
Would you like to refinance your first mortgage, or pay off a high-rate second mortgage, or maybe purchase a new home, but you've been late with payments from time to time?
Morning, that'll affect the sights and sounds of the city's streets. You won't be seeing carriage horses in Midtown after all. The mayor vetoed a bill which would have allowed the carriages to clip-clop their way almost anywhere in the city after 9 o'clock at night. And how about those annoying car alarms? Well, the mayor signed a bill which requires those things to shut off after blasting away for 3 minutes instead of the current 10 minutes.
Organizing things already, right? With just 3 days left until the first of the year, some of you may be wondering how in the world to start off 94 on the right foot. And we're not talking about how to stop eating too much or drinking too much this time. Right now, we're going to focus on how to organize your life to make things easier. And here to help us is the author of this book called Organize Your Family. She's an Upper West Side mother of 3. Ronnie Eisenberg with us once again. Welcome, Ronnie.
Thank you.
Happy New Year a little early. Help us, is the point.
Perfect time of year to get organized,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's a great New Year's resolution. The first thing is to tie up loose ends from the holiday. In a holiday file, put craft ideas, recipe ideas, gift ideas that worked, and those that didn't.
For next year.
For next year, right. Next, weed out old toys and clothes to make room for new ones, donate them, rotate them, or pass them along to family members and cousins.
Okay.
Then the most important thing you can do is organize your dates.
Yeah.
More important than the refrigerator is the wall calendar for the kitchen. And make sure you note telephone numbers, addresses as well.
You know, I went and bought 3 of these, and now I don't even know how to get
One will
started.
do it.
I'll say one will do it, yeah.
Great birthday book. You can find this in museum shops. Here's where you record important dates, anniversaries, birth dates. The beginning of the month, look and see whose birth date is coming up so you're not accused of forgetting. And then you forgot cards. So go out and buy all occasion cards. I just want to say...
Stockpile them, right?
Just want to say happy birthday, congratulations, hello. Keep these on hand.
Get several so that you got them
Get
ready.
lots of them. Organize your photographs. Get them out of the shopping bags, out of the cartons.
Impossible.
Into,
It's impossible, right?
into a photo album and label them so you can preserve memories for years to come.
How do you find time?
I make the time.
You make the time. That's another segment, right?
Everybody listening will appreciate this tip. Go out and buy yourself a household affairs file and a canceled check file. Here you're going to put unpaid bills, paid receipts in an organized fashion, all in one place.
Each month has
You don't lose a thing. It's all here. It's great. Your accountant will love it. And all of your canceled checks for the entire year.
We're so organized, our time is up. But thank you, Ronnie. It's good advice. It really is.
Thank you for all those wishes. Still to come, the man who bought an island all for himself.
And in a minute, Elaine Lewis is back with more on the snow heading our way.
The Salvation Army offers senior citizens a chance to stay young at heart. Your support can make a difference this holiday season. Call your local Salvation Army.
I studied at Hambu Dojo for many years and made many, many friends.
Yamada, Sugano, Osi. We were like a family. I can only wonder how they are now.
Don't you call them?
Sadly, no.
With my long-distance company, the extra savings are only on 2 numbers.
If your long-distance company restricts you, switch to AT&T World Savings. You can save over 35% on AT&T's low international prices.
2 can be a lonely number.
Your true voice.
I'm Roseanne Coletti with a reminder. The Troubleshooter Hotline is open weekdays from 11 a.m. till 1. So if you've got trouble, call our volunteers from the National Council of Jewish Women at 212-582-0220. And don't miss my Troubleshooter Report weekdays at 5 on Channel 2 News.
I'm Dana Tyler. Growing up in this city can be tough these days, but for the children who come here, this Salvation Army Daycare Center can be like an oasis in the desert. Here, working parents can feel safe leaving their children in a learning, nurturing environment with 3 meals a day. But the Salvation Army can't support daycare programs like these alone. They need your help. You can make a difference by donating your time or support this holiday season. Just call your local Salvation Army.
Mario Perillo, Mr. Italy, and Alitalia are the world's leading specialists to Italy. You know, I may not look it, but I've been at this for 50 years creating fantastic tours at affordable prices. Let Mario escort you from the Alps to Sicily. We take care of everything. You relax, free to enjoy Italy's monumental cities or the charming little villages off the beaten track. For this free Perillo brochure, see your travel agent or call 1-800-255-5000 now.
It was a fight to the finish for the 4 finalists, and there are plenty of surprises in store for the Light Swap Contest winner.
Tomorrow morning at 10 on Channel 2.
Well, with the hectic lives we all lead, who would not want to get away to their own private island? Well, that dream has come true for a Wall Street millionaire. 37-year-old Louis Moore Bacon has purchased Robbins Island. It's a 445-acre island in the Great Peconic Bay in Suffolk County, Long Island. The cost? A mere $10.5 million.
That's all. But he probably gets snow there, too.
Right,
On a day like
exactly.
today. What's up, Elaine?
Well, what's up is that we do have snow on the way, but snow lovers may not be quite as thrilled today as they were yesterday. There is that watch in effect on the eastern end of Long Island, a winter storm watch, but that means only that the possibility for some accumulating snow exists. It's not a promise that it will happen, and there is no watch in effect for the rest of the area. But there does appear to be snow on the way, and the clouds have moved into the area. Right now it is cloudy in Central Park and in most places around the area, and we have 21 degrees in the city. The winds are quite light out of the east. Now here's the situation on the map. You notice to the south there is a low, and this low is scheduled to move off the coast and then move to the northeast. Now this is what is going to bring us the snow, and it depends on how far east the storm system goes, how much snow we get. As it looks right now, the heaviest accumulations will be to the east and probably up at Cape Cod and Maine. And that storm system is also going to get another little reinforcement from another system up in the Great Lakes. This is the current radar, and what we have is some snow down there in Delaware and Maryland, a little bit of snow off the coast, and then a little bit of snow up in the Great Lakes. So here's the forecast. For today, we're looking for thickening clouds and some snow moving in probably around the rush hour area. For tonight, that snow will continue, but it should be all over with by morning time for anyone around the area, and tomorrow getting to work should be all right. As far as New Year's Eve is concerned, it looks terrific, it looks fair, and the temperatures will warm up for that night. So that's the good news.
Okay, thanks, Elaine.
Okay.
And that is Channel 2 News at noon this Wednesday. I'm Carol Martin.
And I'm Jim Jensen. Just a reminder, we'll be following the plight of several dolphins trapped in the Shrewsbury River in New Jersey, and today's rescue efforts to herd them out to the safety of the open waters. Until then, thanks for joining us. Have a great day.
7 Eyewitness News.